والنور الله لا يعطى العاص لا يعطى العاص فالعلم
Also, one of the main benefits of Usul al-Fiqh, my dear respected brothers and sisters, is that it is the main tool that enables scholars to be mujtahid scholars in order to find solutions for contemporary problems or new issues. There are many new issues that have not been discussed or highlighted by classical scholars. I'll give you an example. Classically, or people in the past used to use gold and silver as the main media of exchange. Money. Basically, money is gold and silver. Or they used to do this part exchange. But now people use paper money. Now paper money is something relatively new. How can we understand the rulings related to paper money in light of the rulings related to gold and silver? How can we understand those rulings? For example, the zakah issue. We know that if you own certain amount of gold or silver, you have to pay this much amount of zakah. Can we apply the same ruling if you possess or own a certain amount of paper money? It's not gold, it's not silver, but paper money. Do we say the same thing or not? Another example, we know that exchanging gold for more gold or gold for a different amount of gold, whether now or later, is considered to be riba, as the Prophet ﷺ said in the hadith. Now, do we apply the same ruling on paper money now or what? Okay, now this is a contemporary issue that we need to discuss. Also, you know, in the past, Muslims were united under one Khalifa in one state. Now, Muslims are not united under one Khalifa, they live in different states. How can we understand that situation? This situation, it is a contemporary situation that needs certain rulings. We need mujtahid scholars, or we need scholars who can understand the text. They can understand the classical views of classical scholars, and they can implement them on this contemporary situation. We have many other issues, organ transplant. We also have stem cells experiments, cloning, many other issues, whether political issues, whether issues related to economy, sociology, you name it. How can we make Islam adaptable by different circumstances, different cultures? We need those scholars who can understand Islam deeply, profoundly, in order to make Islam relevant to those circumstances, because Islam itself is a dynamic religion that can be applied in different space, in different times. And as we always say, that the nature of Islam is a very unique nature. How Islam, from one side, is a fixed religion, that controls life, and from another perspective, Islam is a comprehensive way of life that has enough dynamic to be adopted by different cultures, different space, different time. So if that is the case, who is going to make Islam relevant to different cultures, different space? As we know that Islam is taken from Quran and Sunnah. Quran and Sunnah were revealed at one time, at one particular time, in one particular culture. How can we make those limited divine textual verses or statements, prophetic statements, relevant to the 21st century, relevant to a European space? We need those scholars who can understand Islam deeply and who have the ability to use this dynamic the Islamic dynamic to adopt different cultures and to be implemented on different cultures and space. This is another important benefit of Usul al-Fiqh. Also, Usul al-Fiqh, my dear respected brothers and sisters, will enable us to extract and understand the miracles of Sharia. Believe me, brothers and sisters, many people think that Sharia is a very rigid system. There is no spirit behind it. And this understanding or this conclusion that many people have emerged because they do not really appreciate how the text was interpreted or was understood by the classical scholars, and the spirit behind those rulings that have been extracted from the text. Because of this, because they lack this understanding, they came up with distorted opinions about Sharia, and they thought that Sharia is a very rigid system that has no spirit, has no sophisticated process behind it, and so on. And once you understand Usul al-Fiqh, wallahi, you will see the miracles of Sharia. For example, I'll just pick an example from my mind. If we talk about Islamic finance and Islamic economy, and if we talk about why Sharia prohibited deferred exchange between money and money. As you know, that if you are exchanging gold for gold, it has to be prompt. It should not be deferred. Okay? If we exchange money for gold for silver, it should be prompt, hand to hand, no deferred payment. If we reflect upon this without the ability to understand the wisdom behind it, we will see that this is a very rigid, strict rule that has been applied by or enforced or dictated by Sharia that has no impact on our life. However, once you understand that Islam wants to prohibit, any possibility of money creation, and wants people also to feel the money physically when they exchange it, and they need to make sure that the money is not the gold or silver is not used number of times by the same transaction. Then we will understand that the money creation that is taking place now, which is the biggest economical problem. See, brothers and sisters, ask anyone who knows about economy and finance. If they know deeply about it, they will come up with a conclusion that money creation is, if it is not the biggest problem that we are facing, it is one of the biggest problems that we are facing in our economical situation now. Debt problems are emerging because of money creation. Monopoly, deception, all these type of problems are revolving around money creation. Now, money creation has been prohibited by Sharia. How? If we understand those ahadith that speak about exchanging money, exchanging gold for gold, silver for silver, gold for silver, and so on, we understand them deeply, we will understand that Sharia 1400 years ago prohibited and blocked all means to money creation. And you will see it in front of you, and you will really appreciate this miracle that Sharia came up with 1400 years ago. This is an example. Take so many examples related to Sharia. Why Sharia prohibited free mixing between both genders, and compare this to what we see now. The problem that we see in our society, the hypersexualization of the whole society, you will see those miracles of Sharia. On a political level, why Sharia commanded the whole Ummah to be united under one Khalifa, you will see the benefits of that ruling in front of your eyes. Now, the more you understand Usul al-Fiqh, the more you understand the miracles of Sharia. That's why I quote a statement by Ibn Abd al-Barr, a very profound statement. Let me read it to you exactly. He said that وأما طلب الحديث على ما يطلبه كثير من أهل عصرنا دون تفقه فيه ولا تدبر لمعانيه فمكروه عند جماعة أهل العلم. And the statement of Ibn al-Madini when he said التفقه في معاني الحديث نصف العلم ومعرفة الرجال نصف العلم. They said that, briefly, they said that studying hadith without studying the meanings of hadith, okay, is disliked by so many scholars. And Ibn Madini said that studying hadith without studying the meanings of a hadith, the understanding of the prophetic statements, as well as, of course, the Quran as well, is half of the ilm. And the second half of it is studying the meanings of these textual sources. And Al-Ghazali rahimahullah, who died 505, said that the best type of discipline or science is that science that combines between the intellect and the text. And that science is Usul al-Fiqh, because it helps you to apply your intellect on the text, and you don't find that there is a contradiction between your aql, your intellectual faculties, and the text. These are some of the main benefits of Usul al-Fiqh. Yes, the last benefit before we leave, my dear respected brothers and sisters, or let me just mention last two benefits. See, the benefits are numerous and we cannot just limit them, but let me just mention two benefits. One benefit is Usul al-Fiqh helps any person to have a very structured mindset. And many of our brothers and sisters do not have a structured mindset. That's why they are unable to articulate themselves. They are unable to articulate many Islamic views, especially in front of non-Muslims. And we need this here in the West, brothers and sisters, more than we need it in the East. And in particular, in this time, we need this more than before. Why? Because people now are well educated. People want to reason. People want a rational argument. People also want to listen to a structured discussion. They don't want to hear a wishy-washy discussion or a very unstructured lecture or khutbah where the person is just chanting with no structure, with no substance behind what he is talking. Usul al-Fiqh builds that ability to have a structured reasoning and a structured intellectual capacity. And that's why, my dear respected brothers and sisters, if you see a person who studied Usul al-Fiqh and the way he addresses himself or addresses any topic, you will feel that there is a great difference between the way he addresses himself and the person who did not study Usul al-Fiqh. The other person who did not study Usul al-Fiqh, he will start from one point, jumping to another point, to a third point, and so on. There is no structure, there is no link between different points, and the audience will feel they might like his profound language, but they will not come up with a solid substance, with a solid argument, with a real substance from his lecture or from his course. So that's why I always encourage our brothers and sisters to study Usul al-Fiqh in order to give them that ability. The last point that I would like to mention is, or the last benefit, that I would like to mention is Usul al-Fiqh enables the person to be more spiritual. Okay, many people think that Usul al-Fiqh is just a very dry type of discipline, a very dry set of rules and guidelines, has no spirit, no spirituality behind it, and that is totally wrong, because believe me, if you have the ability to understand how rulings were extracted from the divine text, you will be always connected to the divine text. And the more the person is connected to the divine text, the more he will be spiritual, because the divine text provides that is spirituality. Imagine, or that iman, maybe spirituality is not the accurate statement, is not the accurate term, but I mean iman. How? If the person is connected to the Quran and he feels that he is living the Quran and he is putting Quran into practice, because he feels that he can understand how different rulings were extracted from the Quran, he will not feel that the Quran is so far away from him or from her. He will be more attached to the Quran, closer to the Quran. And the Quran, as you know, Allah Jalla wa Ala called it the Ruh. وَكَذَلِكَ أَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْكَ رُوحًا مِنْ أَمْرِنَا مَا كُنْتَ تَدْرِي مَا الْكِتَابُ وَلَا الْإِيمَانُ. And Allah Jalla wa Ala is the source of light. The Quran is the light. يَا أَيُّهَا النَّاسُ قَدْ جَاءَكُمْ بُرْهَانٌ مِّن رَبِّكُمْ وَأَنزَلْنَا إِلَيْكُمْ نُورًا. We have sent to you a nur. This is the Quran, and we will be more attached to the Quran if we know how Quran can be understood, how it should be understood, and Usul al-Fiqh helps us to have that ability. In conclusion, my dear respected brothers and sisters, Usul al-Fiqh is a very important tool, is a very important type of discipline that all of us need to have, including lay people. They need to have elements of Usul al-Fiqh, because they need to know how to ask questions, when to ask questions, whom they should ask. Our brothers and sisters, the practicing people, they are desperately in need of Usul al-Fiqh, because they cannot be intellectual, they cannot live Islam in reality without Usul al-Fiqh. They cannot live Orthodox Islam in a 21st European century. They cannot be able to face those challenges that we are facing in this part of the world at this particular time. They won't be able to articulate themselves. They will not be able to see the miracles of Sharia. That's why I encourage all of our brothers and sisters, especially those who are involved in da'wah, to learn the basics of Usul al-Fiqh. And inshallah, in this course, we are providing you with the basics of Usul al-Fiqh. Jazakumullahu khairah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.